Hello and welcome to another edition of the ICA Chiro Cast, where me, Brant Hulsebus, member of the ICA, reaches out to different ICA people, leaders, and other people within the ICA to talk about what the ICA is up to, the exciting news within the ICA, and the highlights of our members and what they've been up to. One of the areas that I always find myself talking about when I meet new people or I'm at a school or someone's asked me, what work can you tell me the ICA is doing? One of the things I'm always part of the ICA is our councils. And so when I called the ICA, I said, who should I talk to the councils about? I was immediately told to call my good friend, Dr. Selina Sigafoose-Jackson. Hello.
Hi, hey, Brant. Thank you.
Yeah. So for those of us who don't know who you are, I'll introduce you as the past president of the International Chiropractors Association. And that's when you and I were hanging out quite a bit and trying to get
Yeah,
stuff done. So why don't you
yeah.
tell us a little bit more about you and where you practice and maybe that cool guy you practice with?
So my husband, Kevin, the cool guy, Kevin Jackson, we practiced together in York, PA, York, Pennsylvania. We've been here for 34 years. Crazy, but he and I hit it yesterday. We are together 40 years in January. So we have a pretty huge practice in York. And years ago, Dr. Didi had called me years ago. I remember exactly where I was. I was filling up my huge gas tank when I had a Chevy Suburban. And he called me and said that we didn't have an RA for Pennsylvania. And he asked me to be an RA. So if Didi asks, I said yes. So that was, I don't even know how many years ago. My girls were little, so they're 29 and 26 now. And then just stayed involved with the ICA as a member after that. My term as the RA ended. And then again, in 2012, Mike McLean called me and asked me if I'd run with him and Ron Oberstein on the slate to be the secretary-treasurer at the time. And that's when we did things a little different. So again, Mike McLean, he's been big in the ICA, or was for years. So I said yes. And so from there, it just led from secretary-treasurer to vice president to president. So I just felt that if you're asked, you say yes, and then we'll figure it out from there. Kind of like this podcast.
There you
You
go.
asked, I said yes, and we'll figure it out from there.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent. Well, I'm very happy to have you. So let's dive into a couple of these councils. Let's start off with the first one on my list, the Pediatric Council. I know that's a very active council. What can you tell us a little bit about the Pediatric Council?
well, its name speaks for itself. And a lot of people get the ICA's Pediatric Council confused with the ICPA, which is the International Chiropractic Association, or ICP, International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, which was Jeannie owns. And not to take away from that, but the ICA's is not the same as the ICPA's. And while, yes, you can get massive education and massive titles in both, we are the ICA. So we promote which I do believe that our council has been around first and longer. And I do know that this council, which is headed up by Laura Tanis, I believe, works their butt off and really is involved heavily in a lot of science, not just, hey, how do you adjust a baby, but a lot of science behind the need for pediatric chiropractic. And I would say it's kind of interesting because as you do, we travel all over our profession and you'll meet people that are with the ICPA and then we'll meet people that are in the Pediatric Council of the ICA. And it's like even two different breed of people. So they each attract just a different group. And what I see is the people that are in the Pediatric Council are people that are really heavy in science and research. And that's what's interesting because you know as well as I that ICA is said that it's the organization or the association that's more philosophical based. And I say, well, yeah, you can't separate science from philosophy from art. So our pediatric council is really heavy on a lot of science-based, or what we would take back the name evidence-based, as well as our other councils. So yes, that's what I know to be, and I'm very proud that the ICA has maintained its pediatric council.
I know where the ICA's website has changed, but I know previously you could get copies of the pediatric research paper right on their website. It's available. It's nothing, it's just available there to put the taking. And I know I've gone there many times to pull up a research article. And what I understand, in order to complete your certification, you have to publish in the journal. So we have a
Right,
really talk
yes.
about science. I mean, it's right there and right
Yes.
in the journal. So that's an awesome feature.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can be extremely proud as the ICA to have such a council, especially with things that are going on around the world. People want to deny the need for children in chiropractic, and our council proves abundantly over and over again the need for children to receive from birth on chiropractic care.
I know I was born and brought right across the street to Palmer College and adjusted by Dr. Strang, and I'm 99.9999% sure that you were adjusted immediately after you were born too.
Yes, you are right. Yes, you are
So,
right. Yep. Yeah.
very good. Well,
Yes.
let's talk about the one now that does a podcast or a webinar podcast every month. I see emailed to me all the time, the ICA Council on Philosophy. I see that
Yes.
one all the time.
Yeah, that one is a little smaller of a council, which is sad because, if ICA is the organization that promotes philosophy, you would think that that'd be a council that were bigger. So like the Pediatric Council, and again, all our other councils, there's a lot of the difference between, let's say, what our philosophy council members look like and act like. They have taken the philosophy of chiropractic to the nth degree and weaved it with science. So it's not, I like to make clear that philosophy is as rich and as strong and as provable as any science or art would be. And the Philosophy Council, if you've heard one podcast, that's all it would take for you to say, like, whoa, this is heavy, this is strong, this is real, this is viable. The one podcast I listened to, I heard the term, and I'd never heard the term before. They use the term vertimere, which is like the whole complex of the vertebra. It's not just the vertebra, but it's the disc, the nerve, the facets. I do believe that that's what it means. And I had repeated that to someone else, and they're like, what? I never heard of that. So I think it is a hidden gem within the ICA. And I'm glad that we're doing this podcast, because a lot of people don't know that ICA has councils, let alone this specific council. So yeah, it's a powerful one. And I do believe most of the people that are the head of the council have done research as well as written literature.
If you're in Northern Illinois, I'm surrounded by half the members of that. So we see them all the time, and I get to hear them all the time. It's a little treat by where I live geographically.
Wow.
So I'll take advantage of that.
Wow. You got to find some treat geographically with Illinois, because Brant, I'm just saying, Illinois.
Yeah. Yes, I'll admit to that.
I feel like Pennsylvania is is tropical compared to Illinois.
Yeah, but I do claim we are the second state of chiropractic, though, because it was invented across the river. So yes.
Well, I won't take that from you.
Well, then, speaking of down by the river there at Palmer College, the very first technique I learned to adjust at Palmer College, which they still teach despite what some people say, is toggle recoil. I get to learn toggle recoil upper cervical. And I know that we have a really good council there too, correct?
Oh my God. And again, let's also make clear that the upper cervical council for the ICA includes all upper cervical techniques. So you're right. You've got toggle recoil. We've got, so if you look, it's not Blair, it's not Nuka. Any given time, those individuals that practice that technique can be the head of it, but it is all upper cervical techniques. And I personally have not been to one of those particular council meetings, but my husband has, and he told me unbelievable. The again, science of that upper cervical area and how they dove deep into that. And you know, we all learn, we all dissect, we do cadaver dissection and we see the whole body, but there is nothing more brilliant than the upper cervical anatomy. Therefore, those people that just specifically do upper cervical is off the charts, got to be deeply rooted in that science, philosophy, and art. But the upper cervical is just, in my opinion, I tell patients all the time that you can tell me that I can only adjust one bone in the body, it's going to be the atlas. And if you take away everything else, I'll still survive. I'll still be able to practice my trade. But yes, our upper cervical council is top notch. I don't think there's anything on the universe quite as, what's the word I want? Like it's a jewel. It is a jewel of the ICA. Yeah.
For me, the number one thing I refer my patients out to, like other healthcare providers, is upper cervical chiropractors. Because I'm pretty much a full spine practitioner, but somebody comes in and they got MS or something interesting going on. I'm like, you know what? I think you need to get that atlas checked. And I think there's people that specialize in it, just like there's orthopedic doctors that specialize in shoulder surgeries over hip surgeries. And that's the number one thing I probably refer people to is upper cervical care. That council is so cool because you can log on and find them right there.
Yeah.
So,
And, you know, Julie Mayer Hunt, one of the past board members of the ICA and is on the Upper Cervical Council. What was that paper she released research with how, I can't remember exactly what it was, but how the increase in immunity is proven through upper cervical care. Again, it's a powerful area of the human body, and it is a powerful council.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
With that, there's so much research and stuff going on too with the upper cervical care and the science around there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another great segue to our next council, the Applied Chiropractic Sciences. Talking
Well,
about research and stuff.
Again, are we going to lighten the load yet? Are we going to talk about something that's a little frilly? Because so if we look at the members of that council, again, I think that like in physics, they say you can't see a quark, but you can see the footprint, the trail of the quark. And so when I look at these councils, I may not have been to one or been to one of their meetings, but I see who's in it, and I see the quality and the integrity of the individuals that's in it. And Dr. Joe Betts, our own president of our association, is in that council, teaches in that council, that you can't, I mean, I, like you, do full spine. So I don't specialize in pediatrics. I specialize in human beings. I don't specialize in upper cervical. I do full spine. I won't say that I specialize in philosophy, but if you're an ICA chiropractor, you specialize in philosophy. But I don't specialize in personal injury. But a lot of times, some of our philosophical chiropractors think that we compromise if we do personal injury. And no, not at all. What these guys have proven that you don't have to compromise a bit. If you want to specialize in personal injury, these guys give you the tools, the tests, the documentation, the science behind the necessity of chiropractic care post-injury. It is huge. And again, you just look at the members of that council and you'll see nothing but power and nothing but full gentlemen and ladies full of integrity.
I think that's the council that if somebody really wanted to sit down and say, hey, is this chiropractic stuff real? There's no way this could be real. And you wanted to have your posse come and defend you, you'd probably want that council to come be the ones that sit in a room with lawyers and everybody.
Bingo.
And teach them, you know what, this is real. Let me show you how it's real.
Yeah.
So,
And use the word, I love the word eviscerate. Eviscerate any naysayers.
yes.
Yeah.
That's the crew. So
Yeah,
we got
for sure.
one more council we're going to talk about. This one I know a little bit about. This is going to be the one that helps spread the word of chiropractic, tries to get the message out there. And we do that through sports and athletics. So we have the Chiropractic Council on Sports and Fitness Science.
Yeah. So I will take a little bit of a feather for my cap with this one, because during my tenure as president, we saw that the Sports Council really was just about one thing, and that was the Arnold Classic. And then through COVID, that all ended, and a little bit of drama and had occurred with through that. And so we made the decision to either cut that council or reestablish it. And I'm very proud that you, along with Dr. Todd McDougall and my husband, Kevin Jackson, and some other fantastic, dedicated gentlemen, have stepped up to the plate to, how would revivicate, as Dr. Sid would say, that particular council. And I know, because I've been in on some of the phone calls and I've overheard some of the phone calls, you know, not everybody is like you that goes into sports teams, or Dr. John Stuckey, who travels with the PGA or goes to the rodeo, or Todd McDougall, who does strongman. Not everybody wants to get into those arenas. One of the things that my husband, Kevin, says, that everybody should at least learn how to do a technique to an athlete and get some type of certification, and then be the mom or the dad that works for these high school and little league sports teams and be the team chiropractor. And what better way to put your foot in the door than to just say, listen, I am part of the ICA Sports Science and Fitness Council. I've got a certificate, or I have membership, and your card carrying member to help get the foot in the door to these schools.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the Sports Council, how a couple of different areas. Well, one, we could be the ambassador of chiropractic. I take care of Russian hockey players, and there's no real chiropractic going on in Russia. So I am the first and only exposure they have to what we do, and how important it is that we present it the right way, the way it should be presented. That, and a lot of people too, I've had students come to my office and said, where is your rehab department? I said, rehab department? I'm a chiropractor. And they said, no, aren't you a sports chiropractor? And they're shocked that you could do self-excited-based chiropractic care in athletes. And whether I've taken care of just about every sport you could have, and everybody comes in before the season starts. We take full spine x-rays on everybody. We have your listings on the wall. When we go into the locker room, we have our table there. And we don't adjust them after the game. We adjust them before the game, because they want to play better, perform better, and act better. And it's been a lot of fun to educate people that I don't have to know ART to be a sports chiropractor. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So we do all that without that stuff. So
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's huge. It's really an avenue, especially for young doctors, that they want to just get their foot in the door and make a name for themselves and make a name for chiropractic. Sports is the way to go, for sure.
never forget in the 80s when my dad freaked out when this guy stole a press pass and snuck onto the sidelines of the 49ers and adjusted Joe Montana on national TV. This is when I was a kid, and my friends didn't even know what a chiropractor was. And here's Joe Montana getting a chiropractic adjustment on live TV. That can only happen in one thing, that's sports.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That was really, really awesome to see.
Wow. Yeah.
And then, I missed to say, we just got a brand new council too, and a whole new type of patient, like not your typical patient by any means. So we should probably end talking about this one with the most unique patient, correct?
Yeah. Our animal chiropractic council. And again, I'm going to put another feather in my cap, because I thought this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute, Dr. Bill Ornstrom and his wife, Amy Hayes, are from Texas, and they teach chiropractors animal chiropractic. You go there and you get a certain level of education and certification. And he really pushed and wanted the ICA to carry a diplomate. Now, we're still unfolding and unpacking this, but it is an absolute council within the ICA that, it is so important that a chiropractor, to do it correctly, as Bill says, it's amazing how many chiropractors say they adjust animals and really can create more harm and make more of a bad name. And Dr. Ornstrom is probably the most philosophical person I've met. I didn't realize that he wasn't a chiropractor. He had the chiropractic philosophy practiced in in veterinarian science. I don't want to call it medicine because he isn't about medicine. He is about turning on the reestablishing connection between the brain and the body for an animal, all animals. And what's wild about this council is that they're not just talking about a patient bringing in their family dog or cat. They're talking about food animals where they go and they adjust herds of cattle or flocks of chickens because they have proven that the eggs and the meat coming from chickens after being adjusted are off the chart, improved and greater than those that just are not ever touched by a chiropractor. So I am especially proud of that council, and I look forward to seeing what it'll do in the future.
But you've had it happen to you 1,000 times where somebody comes in your office like, is there any chance you could adjust my pet dog or my pet cat? And in my clinic, we have a vertebrae from a cow. One of my associates brought it in, and the spinous process on that is going to be this long for a body that big. And I know when we
Wow.
count thoracics, you feel the spinous level 1 up. We're figuring if you feel that spinous, you're feeling 5 levels up. And I explained to my patients that I
Wow.
don't know a cow's anatomy or a dog's, how the facet joints lay and how they lie and the right angle. And I don't want to do anything to injure an animal, of course. And so I think this council certifying doctors that, because there aren't those who learn it, I think having the certification is going to be vital to make sure that your pet or your animal, your horse, gets the best of the best.
And what better organization to do it through than the ICA, because it maintains the philosophy that we hold so near and dear in our heart for human chiropractic care. It's no different than for animal chiropractic care. We still have the same philosophy.
And now we
So,
get to write the rules. We get to write the laws because we have the council. We're the ones that has something to go to. When you're not at the table, you don't have your foot at the seat of the table, you can't participate. And you can't participate, then you can't complain about what happens. That's the way I look at it.
yeah, 100% right. Absolutely.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us and educating people on the councils. It's been a lot of fun catching up with you too.
Thank you. I didn't know that we could spend this much time talking about these glorious councils. So awesome.
Well, I hope our ICA members are watching this and other people maybe that are thinking about joining the ICA or asking what the ICA is up to. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Let other people know what we're up to. And Dr. Selina, any last final words? I'd like to give my guest the stage one last time.
Well, just like you said, if you're thinking about becoming an ICA member, why not? It's something to be very proud of. ICA is on the move. You can have your own thoughts and ideas of what ICA is doing, but you have just heard it from the horse's mouth. We are moving and grooving.
So thank you so much for joining us. Keep coming back and checking out more great podcasts. Dr. Selina and I were just talking about all the future guests coming up. We got a rock star lineup of chiropractors and ICA people for you to come meet, learn more about. So when you see them, you have something to talk to them about. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thank you.